Well, hello there friends and welcome back to the channel. The holiday season is upon us and I'm not actually in my kitchen today. I'm at my dining table with my pen and paper and I was starting to think about the meal plan for the week. And then I realized I'm gonna need to go and do a big grocery haul. And for the first time in a long time, I'm actually meal planning for 3 weeks. I'm not gonna do a super detailed meal plan for all 3 weeks, but I'll tell you why I'm planning ahead. So the main reason I am planning ahead and doing a longer meal plan is that we are going to be quite active and social this year, which is not always the case for us around Christmas time. We like to take it easy and very often New Year's for us, for example, is very quiet. But in the lead up to Christmas, we actually have, we're going camping, we've got people coming to stay, we are hosting Christmas Day, just a small group, but still we're hosting Christmas Day at our house for the first time. And I've also got some friends coming to stay in between Christmas and New Year's. So I wanted to stock up on some really simple foods that I can cook that will feed a crowd. We have wonderful friends and family who'll also be bringing things. So it's not like we're hosting and feeding everyone. But when you are hosting, it's really nice to just be prepared and have some really good options available to you to cook up that will feed a crowd and keep everybody happy. And also on that note, I'm going to do a separate video for you guys where I take you along and the things that I cook up, including a lot of things that are not gonna heat up your kitchen too much because we live in the south part of Australia and Christmas here gets really hot, which is so strange for me because I'm from Sweden originally where it's very cold, snowy, rainy, whatever at Christmas time, whereas here it's the hottest part of the year or some of the hottest part of the year. So for me, I'm still getting used to a warm Christmas even though I've lived here for over 15 years now. Yeah, but I need to plan ahead because my freezer is pretty empty, my fridge is medium empty, and the same for my pantry. So I am gonna aim to go and stock up a little bit. The other reason that I'm stocking up is that the region where I live gets really, really busy over the Christmas holidays. If you don't live in Australia, you might not know that this is the time of year when kids have their main summer holidays from school. So naturally, there's a lot of families and a lot of people that have an extended period of time off over the Christmas and New Year's break and into January. So the region where I live gets really, really busy. Traffic gets a bit crazy. The shops get really busy. So what I always try to do, and this is my 3rd year living in this area a little bit outside of Melbourne, is that I always try to stock up on the main things beforehand so that I have a lot of things that I can use in my freezer and in my pantry, and then I really only try and go for like the small things like, you know, milk, vegetables, fruits and things like that, and try to do little top-up shops. And it just really, really helps you keep your grocery prices down and keep your sanity because it can get very busy where I live. Okay, so let's do a quick stock take in my freezer first. So we are looking pretty okay for bread. So this is basically glutinous bread and gluten-free bread. So we're looking okay, but I might pick some more up there. In terms of proteins, it's looking a little bit empty. This is a soup. We've got some chicken thigh, we've got some sausages, we've got some clearance mince down here, and I've got a whole chicken. I have a plan to roast up this whole chicken and maybe do like a chicken salad or chicken wraps or something when we're hosting. So that one will come in handy. And down here we've mostly got freezer blocks, some blueberries, a little bit of vegetables. I've got some stir-fry veg there, so I could do like a fried rice or something when we're hosting as well. Some frozen corn, so I'm gonna need a little bit of frozen veg as well. And then for the pantry, I've got quite a bit of taco stuff down here that we'll probably do something with. I don't have a lot of brown onion, so I'm gonna add that to my shopping list. And the same for potato. I have a little bit but not too much. And the snack drawer is looking reasonably empty. I need some rice cakes, season of candy canes. If you love candy canes like I do, let me know. Sauces were pretty good. My pasta and noodles are okay. We probably won't might do like a pasta salad or something. I'm not really sure. I have plenty of coffee and tea and long life milk and stuff, so I'm good for that. And I did pick up these very dented coconut milks, but they're intact, but they were pretty cheap, so I bought those. But I think I'm gonna need some canned goods and some extra tomato sauce and mustard and stuff like that if we're doing a lot of barbecuing. So needless to say, my weekly meal plan is probably not going to work. So on my trusty computer, which I've got here in the background, I have written down a really simple list of the date, whether I'm working or not, because I will be working for part of this period, what we're going to be having for lunches, dinners, and also just a high-level comment of who we've got staying, if we're going to be out, if we're going to be eating here, or if we're hosting. So I don't have every single slot for every single day filled out, but I have a high-level plan, especially for the hosting bits. Now, obviously, people are going to be bringing stuff as well, so it's not like I'm feeding everyone every single day, but it's really good when you are hosting to have a high-level plan. So I've got my high-level plan. I've updated my shopping list. My husband and I use the Alexa app. I really like it, and I've showed it to you before. But we basically just share the list, and he can add things, I can add things, and then it doesn't really matter who goes shopping because you always have the list with you in your phone. So without further ado, I'm going to take my very long shopping list and head to the supermarket. I'm going to snap my fingers and I'll see you in 2 seconds. And we are back at my house, not at the supermarket, because yesterday was a bit of a half semi-failure. So I was out for a lot of the day, and I was going to go to the grocery store just before going home. And I knew that Woolworths have had some strikes here in Victoria, and I know in New South Wales as well. So the supply chain has been a bit disrupted. So I thought by going to ALDI, I would be able to get the bulk of what I needed and maybe do a top-up shop at Coles. But I ended up just going to Aldi, and it was a little bit traumatizing because people were elbowing in. Some of the shelves were half empty, obviously, because people have had to go elsewhere instead of Woolworths. I was really surprised. So it took me aback a little bit, but I was able to get probably a third of the items that I was planning to stock up on, especially for this week, but also for hosting, etc. So in a minute, I'll talk you through the haul that I was able to do. But it reminded me of kind of lockdown style when people were almost like fighting for certain groceries or certain items would run out. So anyway, it was interesting, and it goes to show that even if you have the best of intentions to have a good plan, get the ingredients you were after, that doesn't always happen. And that's what I love about meal planning, because sometimes we've got to think on our feet, change our tack. I realized pretty quickly that this was not going to be the be all and end all, so I actually left a couple of non-urgent things off the list because I knew I'd have to go for another grocery haul anyway. So without further ado, let's dive into what I ended up getting. So here we have the haul starting with the proteins, and I was able to get a fair bit of what I was looking for. So I got some eggs, I got some beef mince to make burgers. I will need to pick up a bit more mince though for coming weeks. Got these chicken drumsticks, we'll probably just cook those up on the barbecue. The turkey mince is for a recipe you'll see later on in this video. And I got a big pack of sausages there as well. We're hosting quite a few families with kids, so that'll be easy to cook up. I've got a recipe of a Swedish dish I'll show you in a future video as well, where those prawns will be used. So that's the proteins I got, and I ended up just dividing that big pack of sausages in half, and I'm just going to freeze them like this, which will be easy to take out half of it at a time. And then here is pretty much the rest of my haul. I went pretty heavy on the snacks. We were pretty much very empty in the snack drawer, so I got a couple of different kinds of nuts. You saw that I needed some rice cakes, so I picked that up. And I did pick up some chips. We love chips in this house, but I don't really keep them in the house, to be honest, because we do like them too much. So, but I have picked them up for camping and other things, and some rice crackers for cheese platters and stuff. And moving along to the produce, I picked up a big bag of carrots. These last really well in the fridge, I find. And then the big bag of potatoes. I have an idea for the sweet potato. I found a recipe for a pizza base, a gluten-free pizza base using sweet potatoes. I'm going to try that in an upcoming video. Some lettuce, some red apples. Normally I do the pink lady apples, but these were the cheapest ones. Got myself some onions, and the mandarins were looking pretty good. I find it's really tricky to pick mandarins that are not really difficult to peel. And then I picked up a couple of other things, almost out of olive oil. I got some decaf instant coffee. We usually have this sort of in the evening, and a can of tuna. So in addition to that quick grocery haul, I also wanted to give you a couple of dinner ideas because I was going to do a full grocery haul in this video, but because I could only do half, I thought I'd share 2 really simple, easy dinner recipes with you in this video as well. One of these I've never cooked before. I'm making it for dinner tonight, so I'll check in with you later tonight when I've cooked it to see how it actually turned out. The other dish I'm going to make is some meal prepping for the week, which is a taco casserole. I've made it here on the channel before, but it is so easy. It's a crowd pleaser and is a really easy one to prepare ahead of time, and it's really budget friendly. You can pretty much chuck any ingredients you want in there. So let's get prepping these 2 dishes and I will check in with you at the end of the video. Alright, so I'm gonna meal prep a very quick dinner here. So I have some rice cooking in my Instapot. You can obviously cook it on the stove, however you prefer to do it. And we're gonna make a taco casserole. This is one of my husband's and I. We really like this. And it's very simple. You can throw in kind of almost whatever you want, but I've got some corn here. I've got some cheese. I've got my old cheese block that I'm gonna use up. I may need some from my new cheese that I just bought. I had half an onion and a tiny bit of capsicum hanging out in my fridge, so we're going to use that up. The original recipe that I found online, and I can't remember where, calls for rotel, which I think is just kind of diced tomatoes with chilies. So I'm going to use these, and I actually think I have some like spicy peppers or something in my fridge. I'll dig those out, some jalapenos I'm pretty sure, so I can dig that out and mix that up with those. We've got some packet of taco seasoning. You can obviously make your own. And then I happen to have this lean pork mince that I got on clearance a little while ago, so just thawed that out. So all I'm really gonna do now is cook everything except the cheese up really in kind of a pan. And then once my rice is done, I'm gonna layer that here in the pan, put my mixture on top and put some cheese on top. And then got my oven preheating down here to 200 degrees. And once combined, because everything is already gonna be cooked, it only really takes 20 minutes. So let's get this cooking. And as I'm cooking this up, I wanted to check in with you because I'm planning to do a Q&A style, cook with me and answer your questions type video in a coming video sometime soon. So if you do have any questions about me or the channel or my cooking style or anything like that, feel free to throw your questions down there in the comment section below this video, and I will gather them all together and do a bit of a Q&A style video for you all very soon. Alright, so it's been about 20 minutes I'll see if I can do this without fogging you up too much, but this smells absolutely amazing. Let's go ahead and grab that out. So this is nice and bubbly hot now, and you can see the cheese has a little bit of a browning on it. So I'm gonna let this cool down a bit, and then I'm actually gonna divide this into probably 6 portions because this is a fairly big pan. And we're gonna divvy that up and have for dinners in coming days. And here we go, all dished out, so there's nothing left in here. So I've got 4 portions here that are sort of large dinner portions. Typically, I eat less than my husband, so he'll usually finish my food. And then we've got 2 smaller lunch-sized portions here. But these are so good with a little bit of yogurt or a little bit of avocado, a little bit of hot sauce, a little bit of sour cream. So if you haven't made this yet, the recipe is linked down there below, so make sure to check that out. And yeah, looking forward to have this for the next few days. And this week's inspiration is a new recipe that I found that has the hero ingredient of peanut butter. I've never made this before, so you guys are going to tag along with me, but it is you can use chicken. I didn't have chicken mince, so I'm going to use turkey mince. So it's like a turkey peanut noodle dish. It calls for fresh spinach, which I didn't have, so we're using frozen, but I'm sure we're going to make it work. We've got some noodles here. It calls for ramen noodles, which I don't have at home, but I think these should still work. It's like a quick cook noodle. We're going to need some chicken stock, some coconut milk, some curry powder, our hero peanut butter. We've got some red curry paste, some soy sauce, some apple cider vinegar, some garlic. I would probably prefer to use fresh, but I don't have any, and some oil. I have never made this before, but it says it takes 12 minutes, so let's test this recipe out and see if it tastes any good. So the very first thing I've done here is I've mixed up my chicken stock. I often use stock cubes or powdered stock. And the original recipe, which I will link down here below, calls for chicken mince, and it calls for a little bit less, but it calls for about 250 grams, but this is a full 500 grams. I'm going to try and make it with this because I would like it to be a little bit more protein heavy. Also, this noodle packet here is a little bit larger than the recipe calls for, so I'm just probably going to up some of the sauce ingredients a little bit to see how this turns out. Oh, this looks and smells absolutely amazing. I just let the lid sit on with the heat off for a little bit so that the sauce could kind of get absorbed in the noodles. So we're going to plate this up. The recipe suggested cilantro or coriander, so I've got some from my garden here. And we're going to try, it suggested hot sauce, so we're going to try this chili oil that we got recently. So let's plate this up. All right, and here is dinner tonight. I had a sneaky taste while I was plating it and it is delicious. This is 2 very large serves and probably just as much again. So what I did is I actually doubled the recipe in terms of meat and coconut milk. So I'll leave some notes down there in the description box of the proportions I used, but this looks amazing. Thanks for hanging out with me today and for leaning into the fact that things don't always go to plan, even when you have a plan, and that's totally fine. That's the creativity we just got to deal with when things outside of our control and comfort zone happen. I hope you enjoyed these 2 recipes as well. Let me know in the comment below if you've made these before, if you're planning to try them out. I will obviously have the recipes themselves linked in the description box, and I look forward to see you in upcoming videos. There'll be grocery hauls, recipe ideas. I was going to do a bit of a Q&A as well for those who have some questions for me about me or this channel or anything else. So I hope you have a wonderful week. Please give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already, and I'll see you soon.